Hello and welcome back to Shadows, the horror movie Heroes by Clouds. My head in the clouds not coming down. Chapter 3 out of 40. Mom fretted in the doorway as Izuku organized his notes and papers so that Shinsho wouldn't be too overwhelmed when he arrived. Thankfully, he didn't seem like the type who scared too easily, or else Izuku would have already ruined all chances for their partnership, whatever it was. Before it even began, it was his fault that he got so excited. It hadn't even occurred to him that Shinso might not be nearly as excited as he was about using fear to become a different kind of hero. To Izuku, the realization felt like it had completely turned the world on its head. Becoming a hero like All Might had always felt like an impossible mountain he needed to climb, and every person who called him weak or useless just because he didn't have a quirk was yet another boulder that he needed to scramble over just to find the path, not to mention actually climbing the mountain. Once he stopped worrying about being liked, though, it was like somebody had taken dynamite to the road and blown all the boulders to shreds. It was still an uphill battle, but now it was doable. If he didn't have to be liked, then all he had to do was to be hated, and Izuku had plenty of experience with that. For the first time in his life, I'm going to be a hero felt less like a dream and more like a promise. And even if it was a little selfish, he really hoped that Shinsho felt the same way. Shinsho. It would be a lot easier to be a hero if he actually had someone rooting for him. The doorbell rang and Izuku leaped to his feet. I'll get it! Mom pursed her lips as he pushed past her, and Izuku felt a pang of guilt. She was always a bit disappointed whenever he got a renewed sense of hero fever, and he was pretty sure that she was secretly hoping that he'd come home one day and announce that he decided to be more reasonable, safer career. However much he hated worrying her, though he hated the idea of being useless even more. So hopefully she'd at least be proud of him. Shinsho looked bored when Izuku opened the door, but his stance was guarded, so Izuku suspected that it was an intentional move, kind of like how Izuku sometimes smiled to hide how nervous he was. Izuku grinned brightly and grabbed Shinso's arm. If he was feeling anxious, then Izuku would just have to show him that there was nothing to be nervous about. Come on in! I've been waiting for you! Shinso didn't say anything, but he did nod and take off his shoes on the way, so Izuku kept rambling to fill the silence. My room is this way. I hope you don't mind that I've kinda been getting a head start on some of the research. Shinso was already starting to lose a bit of his bored expression. Research. Izuku shrugged. Like tactics and strategy, like how fear tactics have been used in the past. Some of them obviously rely on a lot of violence, so those are really something we want in our arsenal, but we should also know they exist and maybe we can find a way to modify them to fit our goals a little better. Shinso raised an eyebrow. So basically, you've been studying villains. Izuku blushed. Not just villains. Good. No. Shinso smirked. How else are we supposed to scare them out of their minds if we don't know what they're used to? I like the idea of turning their own tricks against them. It's like intentional karma. Izuku blinked. I hadn't thought of it like that. No. Izuku? Mom asked softly. Is this your friend? Yeah. Izuku stepped to the side so he could see him better. This is Shinso. Shinso.